There she is.
Hello.
Hello. She's
Welcome,
here.
everyone.
Hello.
And Diane shows up in the nick of time.
How's everybody doing? The middle of the week?
I can't believe it. It was like Sunday. You were like, tomorrow's Monday. And I'm going, oh, it's only Monday.
Time. I know.
Here it is
time's
Wednesday again.
Oh,
I know.
time flies.
So hello, everyone.
Yeah, welcome to Bible Prophecy and Truth.
Oh.
My name's Dan. I'm the author of BibleProphecyandTruth.com.
Mm-hmm.
This is my wife, Killeen, co-hosting and chat moderating, and our
yes.
sister in Christ, Diane, from Minnesota via Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to conclude our study on creation versus evolution, which concludes our study on the Bible Prophecy and Truth book that we've been doing for weeks now. So we're going to do the last 4 chapters.
Oh, okay.
And that will be, it'll be a very interesting conclusion, that's for sure. And then, of course, we have some news to talk about that relates to biblical prophecy. And then next live, we're going to start on the notes section from my website and go through some of those articles.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be really good. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to my voice, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up.
I'm giving it 2.
Okay, 2. You could do Rumble and YouTube.
And I'm even lifting my toes up.
Woo. Okay, so
Yeah,
then
4
if you
thumbs
have
up.
not subscribed to this channel, please do so right now. If you're on Rumble and you have not followed us on Rumble, please do that, because I think you can't comment if you have not followed us on Rumble.
No, they just have to have an account.
They have to have an
They
account.
can still
Okay.
comment.
Hey, Jody. So
Hey,
I want
Jody,
you to do
welcome.
that right now. And then I want you to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any great uploads. And call Grandma and say, hey, Granny, guess what? Just listened to a really cool Bible study channel. And it's really good. And then she's going to say, oh, hi, Shuddy. How was it? Is it really that good? Go ahead and send it to me.
Or all
So
the
then
new
you're going to
people
say,
you know.
I'm doing it right now, Granny.
That's right.
Yes. So make sure you send this show to everyone you know on your little black
And
book.
With
You
that
know.
said,
With that said,
let's get into
let's
it.
get started.
All right. So I had to show this because
Oh, that's stupid.
I just saw this today.
Dumb.
And it's so, why is this not going away? I said, hide, thank you. It's like this shocking discovery. 100 million year old frog is just a frog.
Yeah.
Exactly like the frogs we have
Eggs.
today.
Oh,
Fully mature. Yeah, eggs inside. Yeah, that's because it's not 100 million years old anyway.
no. Missing the
Oh.
hind leg. Evidence of trauma.
Yeah, well, probably lost its hind leg trying to escape.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so, like we've shown during this study, that all of the scientific evidence on the earth proves a global flood. Yeah, I mean, just hands down. And then I also got this, which was another new one I just found. Now this is it's in South Carolina, near Charleston. It was discovered in the 19th century. And there's this massive fossil graveyard, phosphate beds, as they call it. And it really, truly is an evolutionist's worst nightmare, because not only are there all kinds of regular land and sea creatures and fossils of whales, sharks, mastodons, mammoths, pigs, dogs, horses, sheep,
Horses.
horses,
Horses,
sheep,
horses.
and even humans, even human bones, alongside supposed prehistoric creatures like the plesiosaur, hadrosaur, ichthyosaur, and so on and so forth.
Wow.
This truly is an evolutionist nightmare because it has a mixture of bones that would be impossible according to that doctrine. So I had to show that because this is like, I mean, this goes right along with everything
I
we've
can
been looking
see
at.
a couple of fish down there
Yeah.
on the far right at the bottom there.
Yeah.
You can see the face of a fish up further where the circle is. Over to the right,
Oh.
right
Okay.
there.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
almost in the middle of the picture is that black thing to the left.
Mm-hmm.
There's another fish right there.
Mm. And
Up
that
further.
looks kind of like a human bone there.
Femur.
Yeah.
A lot of teeth.
I know. And that's, there's all kinds of this type of evidence all over the world. Just like we showed last time, the footprints of man and dinosaur together in China and Texas. I mean, there's just so much evidence, and everything points to a global flood, not evolution as they pretend.
Yeah, it wasn't a local flood either.
Right, and I've heard that before too.
Yeah.
Everything is a local. It's like, what local? You have the whole world. Who's saying it, and who's the where's the local coming
I
from?
know. And
So dumb.
the Bible says that the mountains were covered. You can't cover the mountains and have a local flood. So,
yeah.
And then of course we have evidence of all over the world of the flood, including legends, myths that have been handed down generation after generation all over the world of a flood. I mean, there's everything points to the global flood that happened in the book of Genesis, recorded in the book of Genesis. I mean, there's no doubt whatsoever. Science proves the flood, and science actually disproves evolution. And I like to show this. This is chapter 28. Sorry. What about Lucy? Because this is one of the objections that people bring up when I talk about that there's no intermediate stages, right? Which there should be innumerable intermediate stages if evolution were true.
I know.
But there's none. And everybody says, well, what about Lucy? Well, so I have to talk about it. So, if they found one evolutionary intermediate stage, it would be amazing. But so let's actually talk about it. So it's a 3-foot monkey skeleton. Okay. These are all the bones that they have. They have some separate, leg bones, arm bones, some missing pieces, but it's mostly there. But the thing that they don't tell you is that, where do I have that? They found the leg bones 1.5 miles away and in a different stratum layer than the head bones and other bones. So they take bones that were in a different layer. So according to evolution and their theories, a different layer would mean millions of years. From one layer to another layer, millions of years. So why would they put the bones together that were in a different layer entirely and 1.5 miles away in a different layer? They're struggling so hard to find an intermediate stage. So that enough right there is enough for me to say, well, that's ridiculous. But let's look at something else about this. The femur bone. They say that's an ape man because the femur has an angle to it, while ground-dwelling monkeys have a straight femur. So, and humans have an angle to the femur. So, oh my gosh, this must be a monkey on the way to becoming a human because it's got an angle to the femur bone. So, ground-dwelling monkeys have a straight femur. Tree-dwelling monkeys
don't
have an angle. So
Whoa.
what does that prove? That this is a tree-dwelling monkey. That's all.
Right.
It's so absolutely ridiculous. But
Well,
they're,
orangutans can sit up in trees.
yeah. And they're just so desperate to find an intermediate
Mhm.
stage because they have to
And
make
most
their
of the
belief
time,
true.
you can't talk them out of it.
I know, because
They're
it truly is a religion. If
Yeah.
people that are so adamant and so stuck
like any
in
religion.
evolution that it's a belief that you try to tell them something other than their belief is true, and they get all upset, because it truly is a religion for them. They hate God. They don't want to believe in God. So they have to have an alternative, and they're stuck in it. Whether you show them absolute proof or not, they won't listen. Just like a lot of people, people that, claim to be Christians, and, you show them in the Bible where their belief system's not really true, and, show them scripture after scripture after scripture that proves that their belief system isn't true. And then they just get mad and turn the attack against you personally. It's it's the same kind of thing. They're locked into that. They're not going to change their mind no matter what proof you show them. It's
Yeah.
Human nature. When you get locked into something, you're not going to budge. And I really think it takes God to
change your mind.
soften that
Mhm.
in a lot of people. Some people, you show them the truth, and show them proof, and they'll change their mind. That's just a logical person.
It's
You
rare.
believe something,
That's right.
but if you believe something, but if someone shows you proof that that's not true, then you would change your mind.
You know how
because,
rare that is? It's very rare.
it is pretty rare, but it
does happen. Annie's one of them.
That should be a normal way that people are, right? It should be normal for someone to show you proof of something, then okay, well, you change your mind.
Annie did. I wasn't. I didn't. I had proof. I was told, but I didn't have the proof until I read the Bible. Then I had my truth, and then I started
You had to get it for yourself. Yeah.
Right. Annie just believes like this is the truth, Annie. She's like, wow.
Yeah.
I know. That's
It
awesome.
didn't take.
Yeah. So that's enough about Lucy. I mean, what else do I need to say to prove that that's just a bunch of nonsense? So then, they say that the receding foreheads and different shapes of skull prove that there's different types of humans, supposedly millions of years ago. But I just wanted to show you this because these are pictures of actual living people that are alive today that have the same head bone structure as the ones that they try to say are Neanderthals and others. And they're, African pygmies, lots of different races that have different types of skull shapes and,
Depending on the
characteristics. Yeah. And so for them to say that just proves that there was some kind of different
But even
human, that's just dumb.
like
It really
even
is.
different people from all over the world don't have the like our daughter-in-law is Asian. She has different bone structure and
Asians have more fat around the eye,
They have a lot of
that's
fat
why
around
their
the
eyes
eyes.
look different. And, there's a lot of things. It's just genes.
it's just the
That's all it
region of the
is.
world that they
Yeah.
come from.
Because after the flood, and especially after the Tower of Babel, certain groups of people split off and went their own way and migrated around the world. And that's why you have dominant gene characteristics in different parts of the world, because those groups of people that went off in that direction, the dominant genes stayed within that group of people, and so they have those characteristics. And they've, that's really all there is to it, which is why I talk about this in this little section, right, where, the genetic difference between two individuals of the same race can be greater than those between individuals of different races. And this is true. You can put a white woman and a black woman next to each other, and they could have more like
Similarities.
gene characteristics, similar gene characteristics
Mhm.
than their own brother or sister. I mean, seriously, that's true. DNA is 99.9% alike in all humans. And they say races, you know, but I disagree. I think that we are the human race. There is no race. We're humans. We have different characteristics. We have different genes, dominant genes, but we're just human beings.
Yeah.
And so the thing I like to point out is it depends on who you're comparing. It's just dominant characteristics. That's all it is. And dominant does not mean exclusive. And so I'm going to show you this. I'm going to go through this very, very fast. Basically, and I'm going to simplify DNA. Now, DNA has billions of markers, right? But I'm going to simplify it down just because this, to me, helps me to understand it and make sense of it very easily. If you have a mother and a father, and they have X, X, Y, Y, Z, Z, and any of those attributes can be mixed in an offspring. So one of the offspring could have X, X, Y, Y, Z, Z, or X, X, Y, Y, Z, Z, and those, in that string, right? And so they would be slightly different. So this offspring could never have a child or an offspring down the line with a large X or a little Z.
Right.
Because they don't have it.
Okay.
The only way they could get the large X or the little Z back is to have a woman or a man, whoever, you know, the other side has that gene, and then it can be reintroduced back into the gene pool for that bloodline. So I hope that makes sense, right? You can have any of these in a child, but it's not exclusive, and it doesn't mean all of them.
That's why you have children like me and Annie. We're both. I'm olive skin, dark hair. She's fairer skin with blonde hair, but yet we have the same parents.
Same parents, exactly, because she has a different mixture of the genes than you do. That's all there is to it. It's really, really simple.
That happens so much too. Do you realize that? That you'll have like two sisters or two brothers, and one is fair, one's dark, one's brunette, one's blonde, and they have the same parents. It is the strangest thing. It happens way more than you think.
I went to school with these girls that were twins. One was thin with blonde hair, and one had red hair and was heavy set.
Right.
Because
they were twins.
They weren't identical twins. They were just twins that had a different set of genes. And they could have got any mix of the genes that are in their parents' bloodline.
Yeah, because red hair and blonde hair can be mixed and be strawberry blonde.
And that's just the way genes work. You know, there's no...
That's why we're unique.
You can put any race next to another race, and the genes are still 99.9% alike. Because they're human beings. The DNA is not closer. There's no other creature that has closer DNA to a human than a human, right? I know that they say, well, you know, a banana has, you know, a bunch of our genes, or rats have a bunch of our genes. Well, it only means that they're somewhere in the higher percentile, but only humans have 99.9% alike genes.
Yeah, don't they say
with other humans.
Dolphins or something have
I mean, there's
close to the same?
There's a lot of creatures that have similar gene sets, but it's just because we have the same creator, the same designer, you know, the engineer that made us, made everything. So of course they're similar. Of course, elbow bones are similar, right? I mean, it's just because God made us all.
Like,
Yeah.
dude,
So-
yeah.
So I know it was pretty fast, very simplified, but that's really the truth. If you understand that, then you can understand why the gene pool is so disparate in close relations and can be closer together when someone that's not even a relation. Because the gene pools are, it just depends on what the parents have and what the bloodline consists of in the entire gene pool.
If you watch my
Oh.
video, it's more explained.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
The seminar.
That's right.
Yeah, the seminar. Do I have it linked on this page? No. It was linked on the previous one. And a lot of these pages have it linked. But at the bottom, you're going to find the link to the Creation versus Evolution seminar.
That is so
And
cool.
it has lots and lots and lots
think
of
I'm gonna watch
additional
that
information.
when I have
Yeah.
some free time. I'm
Yeah.
going to watch those over.
You're gonna love them.
Yeah, they're good.
I know.
They're
I've
really
seen them.
good.
I've seen
Yeah.
them, of course, before, but it's been a little while, so I
Yeah.
might.
And I think it was, what's his name?
Ken Ham.
Ken Ham that you showed a video of him showing this very
the
thing where
DNA.
he was kind of explaining that in greater detail. So yeah, it's really good.
Mhm.
So they found two skeletons from what they thought were humans from millions of years apart in evolutionary development in the same area in the same layer of stratum. So this means that those two humans were both in the same place at the same time. It couldn't possibly have been millions of years apart. All right, so they
You know those people that they found in the ice? Do you
Huh?
think that could have been people after the flood that were migrating?
Well,
And
probably
they got stuck
not.
in the snow or something?
Probably not. They were probably people that were caught in the flood and frozen at the time.
Oh,
Unless,
I didn't
I mean,
think
unless
so.
they're closer, unless they found them closer to the surface and maybe it was a point later and they were frozen. I don't know. I don't know which ones you're talking about.
none specifically. I don't know if I have it in my video or not, but I've seen documentaries where they have found people. They have fur and stuff, where they made their own clothes out of fur to stay warm and stuff, and they found tools and everything. And I just wondered if maybe that was a person that was maybe migrating after the flood, because after the flood, then there was snow up north.
Yeah, there was a lot more ice and snow. Yes, so that's possible. They could have been people migrating and died. Yeah, absolutely.
I know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so there's this. I mean, these are just when they originally found these skeletons, they were matching other skeletons that had been presumed to be millions of years apart. But then they found the same two skeleton types in the same area and the same layer, which proves that all of these assumptions that they make are just guessing. And they're just making things up because they want it to be true. And then I kind of have a fairly long little paragraph here, where we see all kinds of differences in species, and and I know that people that talk about mutations versus microevolution versus macroevolution, and they're using all of these new terms to try to explain away all the things that prove evolution wrong. So they make up words and they make up terms and they try to say, well, this is microevolution versus macroevolution. And it's just, it's just they're desperately clinging to this theory is all it is. Because if you really look at the scientific evidence and you have an open mind, you would just look at the scientific evidence that we have today and say, oh, evolution is not true. Whether you believe in the Bible or not, whether you believe the flood happened or not. if you look at today's scientific evidence and the facts that we know today, you would say, no, evolution is impossible. If you actually looked at it and looked at it objectively. So I'm not going to read through that whole thing. You can if you want to. And here's my little statement, right? The common theory states that there was matter and energy already in existence that exploded 15 billion years ago and expanded into the present state of the universe. So that means if I take the bicycle out in my garage and I leave it sitting around and expose it to energy for 15 billion years, it could turn into a living, breathing, ferocious tiger. I know, that's how dumb the theory of evolution is.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Really
Hard matter and energy somehow turned into biological life. No, it's ridiculous. Proteins and nucleic acids can't live without each other, but that's the basis of life. So how did they spontaneously come into being at the same time? It's just, there's so many things that science proves. This idea of evolution is just dumb, really. So moving on. What about the size of the ark? I get people arguing about that too. Well, the ark wasn't big enough to hold all the animals. And so let's just look at that for a sec. This is a representation of the ark. And you can see it's pretty big.
And baby animals are not that big.
Right. Small, young.
A little baby calf is not as big as a mommy cow.
There was only 2 of every kind. There was
a male and a female.
And it was the kinds that God preserved with all of the gene pool
Cows,
of that
horses,
kind.
dogs.
Exactly.
Not 50 different million dogs.
So the ark was big enough to hold 530 railroad cars. Today, they put 250 sheep in a railroad car. So that's 132,500 sheep-size animals. And there's more types of animals than that, but
That's
God only
sad.
needed to preserve one of each kind.
Putting 250 sheep in a railroad car.
Yeah.
Well, that's a little.
But that's what the Bible says. Every beast, every creeping thing, and every fowl, and whatsoever creepeth on the earth after their kinds went forth out of the ark. God only needed to preserve the gene pool for that kind. And then the genes went about doing their business after the fact.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So there's the answer to that. And the continents were connected. People ask, well, how come Australia has animals on it, when it's an island? Well, it wasn't an island. It was connected by land early on because the ocean levels were much shallower. There was much more ice in the poles.
Yeah, right.
And so everything migrated and became trapped after the water level rose. So, I mean, there's answers to every question. It just depends on whether or not people will accept an answer or not. So, the whole heavens, and then people say it was a local flood, right? Well, but the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. You can't cover the mountains and have a local flood.
Yeah.
The whole world was covered. Yeah. So, and then this is a good argument, right? Why didn't Noah just move away if it was a local flood? He didn't have to build the ark. He could have just took his family and migrated away to where the flood wasn't going to come. Yeah. And then the last question, how did they have enough food for everything? Because the flood lasted literally a year. So how did they feed all the animals for a year? Well, I just point out remember the 2 times in Matthew 14 and 15 where Jesus fed thousands of people
I know.
with just a
How
few
did he
fish
do
and
that?
loaves of bread.
He
God can do anything.
Figured it out.
He simply took care of it. They brought food for each type of animal, and the food just never went away.
Of course, there is a lot of animals that eat hay, you know, so you could cover
Well, and
several different.
remember before the flood, everything was
Oh, that's
herbivores.
right. Yeah. So
It was
hay.
only after the flood that we began
Yeah.
eating meat. So they
Do
didn't
you
have
think
to.
they had? Do you think they had dragons on there?
Well, they would have had
Baby
reptiles, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a dragon's really just a reptile. It was just a name for it back in the old days.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So certainly. Yeah.
And he wants a dragon, she said.
Yeah. I want to fly on a dragon.
Yeah, me too.
I'll run to get there. Y'all fly,
Yeah.
I'm gonna run to get there. Okay.
But that's the whole thing is, people argue and argue and argue, but God can do anything. And he just made it happen.
Yeah.
He wanted to preserve the animal kinds, and he did. I mean, that's
And
all
some
there is to it.
people ask, how did he get those animals on the ark? Well, God put it in their minds to just go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He made them all migrate to the ark.
How did he
and
part
get on
the
there.
Red
Yeah.
Sea?
Yeah.
How did he send a pillar a pillar of light or whatever?
Pillar of fire.
Yeah,
And
at
the
night
Israelites
and
and
the
pillar of smoke
So
at day, yeah.
so how did he do that? How did he do anything? How did he raise Lazarus from the dead?
I know. Exactly.
Everything. You questioned everything he did.
Yeah. So how did he make everything in the first place?
I know.
And there was nothing. And he created all things in this physical realm that we know of. Yeah. So, yeah. And then what happened to the water? Well, I've talked about this a lot because the Pacific plate sank. It sank down. And as well as all of the oceans that we have.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the ocean, the earth itself sank under the pressure of the water and caused all of the oceans that we have. The earth would not have been 70% water before the flood. It had far less water. It was probably more like 30% water before the flood.
Hmm.
And then through the fountains of the great deep and the water raining down from heaven, from above, it put a whole lot more water on the earth. Yeah. And the weight of that water caused it to sink. And that's why all of the cracks in the crust of the earth are around the oceans and in the oceans. So sure, they go across the land too, but and all of these tectonic plates, the cracks are at the water because that's what changed.
Hi, Douglas.
After the flood.
People will actually
Douglas, welcome.
be able to see and speak to Jesus in person. They will go against him.
In the final battle at the end of the 1,000-year reign,
I know.
absolutely, because he's going to be living and ruling and reigning from Jerusalem on the earth for 1,000 years, and they will actually be able to see and speak to him in person.
I know.
But Satan will still actually turn a lot of people against him. Yeah.
Well, he had a lot of people turn against him,
when he was here on the earth.
Yeah.
First time. Yeah.
The angels. Now that one doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
The angels turned against him. What is?
Yeah. And then so just for that.
I don't get that.
That comment that you made, I'm going to say I've got a, where did I put it? A millennial reign. I know I found it last time. I was having a hard time finding it, and I found it.
Yeah, that was last week.
Where was it? Do I not have it on my menu.
Oh, I think you typed it in.
I did a search.
Oh,
I did a
yes, you
search
did.
for it.
You
I did a
typed
search
it in.
for it. So and the millennial reign, I need to make sure I get that on my menu here, because
Type it in.
either that or I'm just not finding. I'm just blind. But yeah, because I think, what will life be like
During the
millennial reign
reign.
of Christ? And why don't I see it? Yeah. So if you search,
With 2 L's. 2 L's.
Millennial.
Then you'll find this video that I'm trying to find there.
Millennial reign.
Maybe. Well, there's a newsletter, but where is? I'm gonna have to fix this. Sorry, I'm wasting time. So the millennial reign of Christ,
Yeah.
as a newsletter and a video, and it's under prophecy. So I don't know why in the world I can't find it. It's the millennial reign of Christ. It should be on here somewhere. Oh, it's right there. What will life be like during the millennial reign of Christ? So okay, finally found it. But that's where, and this document also, I talk about how that's possible, how that's likely, because during the millennial reign, you have to remember that there's going to be a lot of people that come into the 1,000-year reign that manage to survive the wrath of God, right? Because the lion, the bear, and the leopard, their lives are prolonged for a season at a time from Daniel 7. They're going to go into the millennial reign under the rule of Christ. And remember, he's going to rule with a rod of iron. And it's going to be very, very strict. And they're going to be required to, there's at least one feast day that people are going to be required to keep all across the world. And so I talk about it in here that, where these people are likely, there's going to be groups of people during the 1,000-year reign that are quietly hating God. And they'll probably know each other, because through the grapevine, they will have discovered each other and know each other, and they'll have secret little, hate groups. And so when Satan is released from the bottomless pit at the end of the 1,000 years, then it'll probably be pretty easy for him to gather all of those groups together. It won't take him that much time. And
God knows that.
Kind of like what's going on now.
So it's not really, it won't be such a secret.
No.
Yeah, but God's going to allow it. The same reason he allows people to disbelieve in him today. The reason that we have this existence where we can't see him, because he wants us to have the excuse if we want it.
Yeah.
He wants us to disbelieve if we choose to. And if he was standing in front of us, it'd be hard to disbelieve, right?
Yeah.
So in that video and on that document, I do talk about it. I couldn't find it right away, but I talk about that very thing where that's likely the reason it'll be easy for Satan. So the water at the flood, where did it all go? It sank down. The earth sank and created these deep valleys that are oceans today. And that's why around the Pacific plate, we have a literal vertical cliff around the edge of the ocean, the Pacific Ocean. There's a literal cliff because the seafloor sank. And that's where the Pacific Ocean was created.
What?
Country's not going, we'll have rain stopped. Yes, if they refuse to keep the feast, and you're talking about Zechariah, if they refuse to keep the feast, they won't have any rain. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be a very harsh rule by Jesus. They're going to be brought through the fire, literally, is what it says, because it's going to be a very, very tough time. Right now, we have it so easy. I mean, that's what I
Yes.
talk about when I talk about that, right? We have it so easy right now. So easy. All we have to do is love the Lord and just be obedient to him. You know, it's so easy. If you don't love Jesus now and you manage to survive his wrath and live into the 1,000-year reign, it's going to be very, very difficult. So, yeah. It's
You'd just be
best to
lucky
just
to
do
be
it now.
alive during that time.
Well, exactly. Because, you know, the war is going to take out a third of mankind. And then the wrath of God is certainly going to take a whole lot more of what's left. You know, 2/3 of the Jews will die.
Mm.
You know, is it likely that the 2/3 of the entire world will die during the wrath of God prior to it? You know, I would say that's likely. It's purely speculative, but I would say that's likely. There's going to be a lot less people that go into the 1,000-year reign. So then when we talk about the water, I know we keep bouncing back and forth, but we talk about the water in Psalms, it actually gives us the information, right? Thou covered it with the deep as with a garment. The water stood above the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the whole world was completely covered in water. At thy rebuke they fled. At the voice of thy thunder they hasted away. They go up by the mountains. They go down by the valleys into the place which thou hast founded for them. The valleys, which are oceans today.
Mm.
The water sloshing back and forth. You know, especially when the seafloor sank. Imagine the water across the world just sloshed around for a while. Created the mountains that we have now. That's why you have vertical cliffs. Remember I showed you this picture?
Yeah.
Where they have a vertical rock wall that has footprints of dinosaurs running across it. Because that was flat ground when the dinosaur ran across it, and then during all of the flood, rearranging everything on the earth and making all of these rocks, folded rocks and twists and turn and moving the earth, and where this became a vertical cliff was because of all that movement, that sloshing around of the waters. The waters returned from off the earth continually. And after the end of 150 days, the waters were abated. I mean, they were sloshing, creating mountains, creating these vertical cliffs, moving things around. It was a very traumatic event that happened to the earth.
100.
100 would be a young death. Yes. So, and I'm not going to go there this time. Sorry, I'm going to stick to my subject. But yes,
I know.
Yeah. So God simply caused the deep chasms and the mountains to arise, and that's what we have. And then, you know, the waters hastening away and returning off the earth, and the mountains arose and the valleys sunk down. Remember I mentioned that, like, the Nile River, when it floods, there's still the ground sinks in that area. Well, here's a guy that is not a Christian, does not believe in the Bible, but through scientific evidence discovered that at some point in the past, the planet was previously 95% underwater. Well, it was 100% underwater. And there was a rise in atmospheric oxygen. I mean, that was before the flood. We've already seen that in amber. The seafloor thinned and sank. The sea level could have dropped more than 1,000 feet. I submit to you that it dropped miles, not just 1,000 feet.
I know.
That's where the Pacific Ocean came from. But this is a scientist who's corroborating evidence that there was something that happened. There was a flood. The earth was covered, and that the seafloor sank. And you know, I thought I had another picture on here I had it on a previous page where it shows the water sinks in a flood still today. And then, of course, it's really a no-brainer how the Grand Canyon was carved, because it was a lot of water over a little bit of time that created that massive canyon. And then, the fault lines of volcanoes, fault lines and volcanoes all follow the deep valleys of the oceans, right where the mountains rose and the valleys sank. The crust is weak and broken. The mountains and the valleys.
Oh, that's why we have not earthquakes, volcanoes.
Yes.
It's because the crust of the earth broke.
Yeah, because the crust of the earth is weak and broken in those spots. Yeah.
Wow.
So magma makes its way up. Yeah.
Would sea life have been affected? Oh, that's a good question.
Well, that's the thing is in it, and it doesn't say that all of the sea creatures died. They did not, but it certainly would have affected a lot of them, definitely.
That's a very good question. I didn't even think about the fish.
Yeah, because the deep has such hot, scalding water coming up out of the water that a lot of them did die.
Yeah, and I'm sure, and God, just like God preserved Noah and the animals, God would have preserved the sea life that he wanted to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he always does take care of them, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like during the fifth trumpet, they're not going to be affected.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Because they're innocent. Why would he? I
Yeah,
mean, they're so
the animals are
deteriorating
innocent.
because of sin, but
yeah, well, everything is wasting away. The animals are dying, the birds and the fish are dying. It says in Hosea chapter 4, everything is wasting away. The earth is mourning and everything is dying because of our sin.
Yeah, not because of God.
But you notice how when female animals are giving birth, they don't cry out, they don't act like they're in pain, they just
like
give birth.
Human women, yeah.
So it must be because they weren't susceptible to that curse, right?
The curse was for human women. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just give birth.
Yeah.
Well, some cows and horses have a hard time delivering.
Yeah, not because of pain, though. They don't have pain.
Well,
in childbirth.
everything's having problems reproducing these days because of sin, because of corruption in the world.
Yeah.
But so why do men believe in evolution? Final chapter. Evolution is a fairy tale for grown-ups. Yeah. That's not me that said that. It's a professor that said that. Right? The theory has helped nothing in the progress of science. It's useless. Because it really is.
Something would have had to eat the dead. I know, like, where are the scavengers in all this? That's what I want to know. That's a very interesting question.
Smarty pants.
Of all the things Douglas thinks about, now where are the vultures in all this? Where do the vultures play a part?
And that's the thing, God even preserved the scavengers because that's what keeps things clean, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to leave dead bodies laying around. Something needs to clean it up.
Yeah.
Vultures.
So one of the world's leading atheists finally conceded that there has to be some intelligent design. Anthony Flew. He wrote a bunch of books. His famous book, The Presumption of Atheism, right? He's been a staunch atheist his whole life until he got old. And he was 81 years old. He changed his mind and said, well, there has got to be some intelligence behind this. And it's not because he fears the internal consequences of a lifetime promoting atheism. He insists he still doesn't believe in heaven or hell, but he was convinced by modern science findings. And this is exactly what I was saying earlier. If you're a normal human being that's not just so insanely locked into a belief system that you cannot change your mind, if you're a normal person, will look at evidence and change their mind. if you see evidence that proves what you believe to be untrue, you change your mind. That's what a normal human being would do. And so Antony Flew is just a normal human being that finally, after years and years and years in modern science, realized that what he'd been promoting his whole life was not true.
Yeah.
And yes, Darwin even doubted
Darwin.
evolution. That's what I have in chapter 21. The first part of this is I even quote Darwin a couple of times, where he said there should be innumerable transitional forms. He said that the eye, he said that if it could be demonstrated that any complex organism existed which could not possibly have been formed by numerous successive slight modifications, my theory would absolutely break down. Well, modern science proves that his theory is false, because we've proved that there's things that exist that couldn't possibly have formed by numerous successive slight modifications. They wouldn't have worked at all. They would have been useless prior to the state that they are today. He talks about the eye, with the amazing ability of the eye. Just, it's absurd in the highest possible degree. But did he stop promoting that? No, because he hates God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, a normal person will concede they're wrong if they're shown proof.
The Bible said that he does know of him. So,
and that's true. Romans 1 says that everything made by God knows of him, and there's no excuse.
Right. Yeah. So he knows. He's just he hates him.
Yeah. Well, he did, because he's gone now. But
yeah.
But Antony Flew said that DNA showed him as the final thing, really, because I'm sure there's plenty of other modern science that he was just blowing off. But when it came to the complexity of DNA, that's what finally convinced him that something intelligent wrote that code.
Yeah,
it wasn't just an accident, because of the enormous complexity. Yeah. So, I mean, and then like I showed on that other page, irreducible complexity, right? That modern science. And I have the same quote from Darwin, on this page too. There's so many things in modern science, especially in our findings in the earth, the folds, the layers that are a single event, that all of the disparate fossils that are found in clumps, just everything. And Douglas, since you're late, I'm gonna bring this up just so you can see it. This is an evolutionist nightmare, because this is in South Carolina near Charleston, where they have these fossil beds that have human bones with dinosaur bones in the same jumble of bones.
Hey, I was going to tell Jody, because Jody lives real close to that. If maybe sometime you'll have a chance to go see that, Jody. That would be so
That's the
cool.
Ashley phosphate beds. Yeah. That'd be interesting to go visit. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, take some video.
And it takes a video and maybe take your son with you.
Yeah. Yeah. It might help him to understand the fallacy of what he's been taught was fact in school.
Yeah.
And then Colorado, the Dinosaur National Monument there. I mean, there's a few places I'd like to go visit.
I know.
Oops.
Where'd Annie go? There she is.
Oh, this thing.
I'm here.
Whenever I bring up a picture, it doesn't.
You keep disappearing because like the Zoom.
Well, it's when I bring up a picture and it brings up an image, for some reason
the Zoom goes away.
Out
it's still
thing.
There. It's just we have
it's
to.
Weird.
Yeah.
But so why do people choose to believe what science shows to be fallacy? Well, there's lots of people that in their old age have changed their minds. Like Aldous Huxley, excuse me,
Aldous.
is a famous agnostic philosopher, right? Well, late in his life, he wrote, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically what it boils down to is justifying ourselves in our political and erotic revolt. We could deny that the world had any meaning whatsoever. So they could go on acting however they felt and just going,
They love the
you
dark.
know, it interfered with their sexual freedom. So they had to believe that it had no meaning. And then they could feel like they didn't have to feel guilty. Why feel guilt for, of all things, that's what, this is. And then the other thing is, people don't want to believe in God, so they have to have an alternative. They don't want to believe something is greater than himself.
Douglas said, didn't Darwin come from a religious family?
Well, Darwin was a priest. Yes.
Himself?
Yes.
Oh.
He was either a priest or he was studying to become a priest. I don't remember. I read about it a long time ago, and I believe that he was either a priest or studying to become a priest.
Oh.
And yes, and that's when he turned. Yeah, he hated God, so that's why he made up evolution. Yeah, and they just don't talk about that. Yeah, but
yeah.
So yeah, nobody wants to feel guilty or feel any morality because they want to pursue their demented pleasures and self-indulgences, and they don't want to feel guilty. Why should they be made to feel guilty, right? That's how they feel. That's why they don't want to believe in God.
So he was not a priest, but he studied theology at the University of Cambridge in preparation to become
so he was studying to be
clergyman.
A priest. Yes. Yeah.
That's what I
remembered.
Took holy orders.
So he didn't actually become a priest, but he was studying. Yes.
The church.
So thank you for that, honey.
More by his family. So Douglas was right about that. He did have a religious family because his family was really pushing him towards doing that.
So no, I had not heard that Barbara Bush was Crowley's daughter.
What?
And I'm gonna, one of the things
familiar.
that I'm gonna be talking about when we go through the notes is I'm gonna talk about, and I'm actually gonna show that today and talk about it more in a future live stream, is to revisit what I talked about for a long time is who is they, and all of the world. COVID really showed us how all of the world really answers to someone or something. They all do the same thing. And it kind of showed us that there is a governing secret society of some sort. And when you study it and study who that is, and, the Bushes are most certainly part of the secret society.
Oh.
And so it, yeah.
Jody says it's 3 or 4 hours away, that little thing.
Okay.
Still,
so
that'd be kind of cool.
Naturalistic evolution concerns itself with no meaningful dignity or future accountability. That is why most people want to believe in evolution, that are staunch evolutionists, because they don't want to be accountable for their demented pleasures.
No.
They want to just live their life however they want without having
any consequences. Yeah.
Exactly. And Darwinism undermines both the idea that man is made in the image of God and that man is a unique rational being, right? As we talked about last time. Furthermore, if Darwinism is correct, it's unlikely that any other support for the idea of human dignity will be found. There's no dignity if you're just a accident.
Yeah.
And then, people like Dr. Lynn Margulis was a knowledgeable member of the establishment, right? Admitted that today universities and professional societies guard their knowledge. Collusively, the university biology curriculum, the textbook publishers, the National Science Foundation review committees, the graduate record examiners, the various microbiological, evolutionary, and zoological societies map out domains of the known and knowable. They distinguish required from forbidden knowledge, subtly punishing the trespassers with rejection and oblivion. And they award the faithful liturgists by granting degrees and dispersing funds and fellowships. Mm-hmm. This is why science has become a joke today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you can't talk about the forbidden stuff, or you'll get pushed out into oblivion, and you will lose your job. The only way to keep your job as a scientist is to only talk about what they allow you to. And even if you know it's wrong, you still have to say it's true. I mean, this is why science today is such a ridiculous joke. Oh, definitely the Rothschilds. There's so many
Luciferians.
Of the secret society members. It's been, you have to remember, well, I don't know if you would remember this, but you have to know that the secret society that we have today, that literally rules the world from behind the scenes, has been centuries in the making.
Mm-hmm.
Literally centuries in the making. And it's gotten to the point where it is today over a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you got organizations like the ACLU. I mean, the American Civil Liberties Union. You think, oh, that seems like a cool organization. Well, no, they are so anti-God. They hate God. And, they're trying to take God out of everything, out of schools, off our money, off of everything. And then, of course, CARE, all of the Muslim organizations that also exist in the U.S., all pushing for the same thing. Kind of like dinosaurs and the Bible. I'm not sure which comment you were commenting on. Commented on something. Oh, maybe distinguished, required versus forbidden knowledge. Yeah, that could be. Yeah.
You might have to elaborate on that one.
But anything but God will do. I mean, there's examples of it, like Nature magazine, September 1999. Even if all the data point to an intelligent designer, such a hypothesis is excluded because it's not naturalistic. Mm-hmm. So if it doesn't fit the evolutionary theory, then they won't even talk about it. They won't look at it. They just discard it. Yeah. Yeah, you can keep naming them for all night, Douglas, and you probably won't be wrong. Because they're really, there's a lot of them. They're spread all over the world.
Yeah, they're very, very huge, and child trafficking and stuff too. Because
they use children for their rituals and sacrifice. So
allegedly.
But I'm gonna stick to my subject here. So, what you believe colors your whole life. Your worldview, your attitude, and how you make moral decisions, right? Our view of the world is what guides us in everything we do, the decisions we make. So if you look at people like Hitler and Karl Marx, serial killers like Jeffrey Dahmer, they all believed in evolution and had no moral values.
Yeah, they didn't have to pay the price for their actions.
So they thought.
So they thought.
It became truly evil.
Mm-hmm.
And either there is a God who is what he says he is and did what he said he did, or there's not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everything in the Bible has been proven 100% by over 25,000 archaeological digs. The flood recorded in Genesis is proven by modern science. I mean, no, God does not stand in front of us because then everyone would bow to him.
Mm-hmm.
But there's absolute proof of God in everything. And just look at the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the minute, tiny, just so small parts
Organisms.
of the physical realm, you know, atoms. And then the parts of atoms, right? And then tachyons, you know, things that are so small. And then the grand hugeness of the universe. I had a video at one time that started with like an atom, and then it zoomed out into a cell, and then zoomed out into a molecule, and zoomed out into a creature, and then zoomed out into and kept zooming out and zooming out and zooming out into the solar system, into the galaxy, into the universe, you know, and it was a really cool video. I wish I could find that again.
Yeah, wow. Anderson Cooper is a Vanderbilt. And I was going to say that, and then you said, let's stay on topic. But he is, Anderson Cooper is
a Vanderbilt.
No, he's on CNN.
He's
an anchor.
He's a Vanderbilt.
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
He's Gloria Vanderbilt's son.
And, you know, CNN is one of the...
Yeah, on CNN.
CNN is definitely a tool of the secret society. I mean, there's no doubt about that. You know,
huge.
Because Ted Turner, you know, was the news mogul before he sold things off, and he was very much one of them, and got it all started. Where instead of reporting the facts, they're telling you what they want you to believe. They've been doing it for a very long time. But the Bible tells men that they will essentially become idiots when they refuse to accept the simple truth of God's word. It says, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Yeah. And then, you know, 2 Peter 3 talks about this, you know, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. For this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of God the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. But the heavens and the earth, which are now, by the same word are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. It just says it. Yeah. Scoffers in the last days, walking after their own lusts. And this is, you know, the picture that I had in the beginning, right? Evolution really is a fairy tale for grown-ups. It's nonsense. And then, you know, scientists behaving badly because they completely and utterly ignore evidence if it doesn't fit with what they want to see. It's just ridiculous.
That's so funny, Douglas, because I was thinking about Walter Cronkite too. You must be reading my mind, because I thought of him too. He was really
What about him?
So we might as well stop the creation versus evolution.
I'm
we're
just
at the beginning of
responding.
We're at the end of it now anyway. So
I was just responding.
Final thought. Yeah, I know.
It's Douglas's fault.
Yeah. But you know, you're spot on, dude. That's for sure.
I think it's CROM. Cronkite.
I don't care. So final thought before we change subjects. Natural selection means that the best evolutionary form of a species is the one that survives, right?
Wrong.
So if natural selection is true, and around 8% of the world is atheist, another 5% are non-religious but believe in some kind of a universal spirit or higher power, then natural selection is telling us that we should believe in God. 92% of the world believes in God, whether it's Jesus or another God.
Mhm.
So those who believe in natural selection and don't believe in God are those
They
who
are gonna
natural
die.
selection will kill off.
Right.
Yeah.
And then somebody got to eat the dead.
So, final link to Creation versus
Yes.
Evolution seminar. You've got to watch that. Watch it.
See,
So-
Douglas
Yeah.
keeps pulling
It's
me
not
into-
going to hurt to watch it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it is very good.
She shows evidence of all the things we talk about in other videos and things. So
making
definitely check it out.
diamonds. That was one of them where she
making
actually
diamonds, yeah.
showed somebody who
Yeah.
was literally making a diamond.
Mm-hmm.
So along with the secret society, there's this ridiculous notion that the Jews are responsible for everything bad in the world.
I know.
That the Jews are the leaders of the secret society. Well, just because there are some Jews that are part of the secret society they're definitely not all of them, and they definitely don't run the show. And I want to point this out for everyone. Who is they? Now, if you go to videos.prophecyandtruth.com, go to modern day.
The secret society.
Yes, that's who they are. Yeah, so if you go to modern day on videos.prophecyandtruth.com to where just who is they, I talk about who they are. And I talk a lot about all of these things, the end game agenda, the stage being set, the puppet master. But start with who is they. And then go to who is the puppet master, and then go into these other ones. Because this is where I started. I was always the kind of person that said, don't be coming to me with those conspiracy theories. Show me some proof before you talk to me about that stuff. Well, someone showed me proof.
Yes.
And I became a believer. And then I really started looking into it. And I found out who the real puppet master is. I found out where these people are really, that the Antichrist is actually going to be working with these people, which is what I talk about in, I thought I had another video. Maybe it's down here a little further. Yeah, that one. I talk about this one, tying it all together. There's a lot of videos on this page right here that if you're new to all of this and want to know who they are, check out who is they, and then just start watching some of the videos on here and do some binge watching. Because
the videos aren't real long. They're not like an hour long or nothing.
Yeah, they're mostly 20 to 30 minutes, some of them 10 minutes. So they're not long. Yeah. But definitely check it out, because no, Israel did not assassinate JFK. The secret society definitely assassinated JFK. It's not the Jews. So, as always, we look at when is the end of the world and the signs that Jesus gave that would herald his coming. One of them being earthquakes. I remember we had a 7.8 in the Philippines. Well, we just had another 6.7 in Indonesia, just right by the Philippines there.
Wow.
Another massive earthquake. These are, they seem to be ramping up. And, 2,387 earthquakes in the last 7 days. You don't hear about this on the news, but they should really be talking about it, because it's a big
Maybe
deal.
they have it on the Weather Channel and stuff.
Yeah, they have
Maybe.
some things on some of the different places, but it doesn't make mainstream news. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And it should really.
They
All of
just
the
think
things.
it's part of the earth changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then they, of course, they're controlled by the secret society, so they want to try to maintain the climate change lie, and so they're not going to talk about any of this stuff unless it goes along with that agenda. So Yeah, it makes sense that they don't talk about it. But if you haven't seen that, definitely check out that page. When is the end of the world? It's right on the main page on BibleProphecyandTruth.com. Scroll down about 2/3 of the way down to the page where you see that picture. But some of the news that's going in today, I want to show you this. Here's what I think Trump's ultimate agenda is coming out now. Because remember, he doesn't really tell you what he's doing. There's a lot of confusion about this whole Iran thing and this deal that was made.
Yeah. He said nobody knows.
Well, and he actually went and talked about it and said, and actually, actually said what it's about. I'm going to show you that here in a little bit, but I'm going to show you first what
JD Vance.
Vance, yeah, thank you. Couldn't remember his name for a second. What JD Vance said. It's just a short clip.
Oh, Annie, listen to this.
I think I saw it.
You did?
I think.
Okay, so let me pause it so I can get the sound going. Back it up. All right, here you go.
You get to the next stage.
Is it included? Is Lebanon included?
Lebanon,
Hezbollah?
It is a regional peace deal. It's going to include the Gulf. It's going to include Israel. It's going to include Lebanon. The idea is this is a true regional peace deal because
how
again,
do we do that
if the
without
Iranians
Netanyahu?
comply,
Sorry, forgive me for interrupting.
No. The idea is that if the Iranians comply, then we are going to have a true transformative deal for the Middle East. And you get to the next stage.
Is
I
it
feel
included?
good about
Is Lebanon?
So think about what he just said. This is Trump's ultimate agenda.
Yeah.
He's trying to bring peace to the Middle East. He wants to do the Abraham Accords.
Yeah.
He wants to get that peace deal signed. He wants to have that under his belt. Right.
Yeah.
And he had a bunch of leaders of other countries. Did you see that? They all
the
got
G7.
together.
At the G7.
No, the G7, yeah, that's just happened. And that's where he actually told what the plan is, which I'm going to read parts of here in a little bit.
Isn't that the first time ever? No other president has gotten together with all them people.
Well, not
What,
for
the G7?
Yeah,
that's been happening. It
but
used
not
to be
doing
the G8.
this.
It was the G4, it was the G6, it was the G7, it was the G8, now it's G7. It's leaders of the world that get together. Yeah. And it's been happening for a long time, but there may have been people there that have not been there before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the Middle Eastern countries represented there.
But he is pulling
but this
leaders together.
is his plan. It will bring peace and security to the whole region.
Ooh.
That is his plan. The thing I was thinking about too is, everybody's talking about, well, he was supposed to do regime change. But I was thinking about that back when this started, he said this is not about regime change.
Yeah, he did.
He actually said that. It's not about regime change.
Yeah, he did.
It's about stopping Iran from having a nuclear weapon.
Right. Well,
that was the reason to go in there.
Iranian people that, well, he was kind of encouraging them to stand up
revolt.
against.
Right.
And do what they wanted for their country.
But it didn't happen, and he probably wishes he didn't do that now. Because he was probably hoping that they would go ahead and do regime change.
They can't have guns.
But, well, I know, and and I'm sure he knew,
That's
but
why.
He's probably sorry he said that. I don't know. But because we know what his agenda is.
Yeah.
And he said it was not about regime change. It was about them not having a bomb, but it was more about this. See, Trump doesn't just do one thing.
Yeah.
He has a whole agenda behind it, just like Venezuela and Iran, and then now going into
that was cutting
Cuba.
China off.
It's all about China.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, and it's also, this is another part of his true agenda, is to bring peace and security to the whole region, including Lebanon and Israel and Gaza and all of the, the neighboring states there.
It's getting close.
That's his agenda, and Vance
I told you
debunked.
he had a reason for what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he just doesn't tell you what he's doing in the beginning. I mean, he really does.
Well, he doesn't want to let the enemy know what he's doing.
He did tell us all that, but he didn't say that, I'm going in here to do this ultimately. He had his reasons for going in there, but it's all part of the plan. So, that, and then, debunking the Iranian deal lie. There's been so much nonsense published about this deal.
Yeah.
And some of it comes from Iran, because Iran's publishing nonsense, and Pakistan and other places. But let's I agree. Iran agreed never to have a nuclear weapon. That is the crux of the deal that they're signing.
Yeah.
And it's going to be solidified over the next 2 months, right? This is just an agreement to move forward with this deal. And they've got 2 months to comply with everything that they have to do.
But they're going to be signing some stuff on Friday.
2 more months.
Yes. Yeah, they're signing.
They are
signing the
signing.
agreement, but then it's going to be finalized in 2 months, right? And so they've agreed to never have a nuclear weapon. But here's what Tehran says. They're getting $25 billion. They have not said they won't build nukes. That's what Iran is saying, right? They're lying.
Yeah.
Iran demands Israel withdraw from Lebanon as
Not
key
going to
condition.
happen. It's not going to happen.
Well, the fighting has to stop. That's the part of the whole deal.
Yeah.
Is this? So Lebanon has to
Hezbollah
stop
needs to
Hezbollah
stop.
from firing missiles into Israel, right? Hezbollah launches a rocket barrage just yesterday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, they haven't stopped.
So like what you said, remember what you said about that? So Bibi is probably going to say to Trump, you cannot, I'm going to do what I want to do to protect Israel.
He's already said that.
And so then that's when they're going to force the peace.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and it's like Trump may just get pissed off at Netanyahu and say, okay, well, the rest of the world pretty much wants to force this 2-state solution, and he may just go that route
and draw the borders
because of the way things are going.
I think so. I think
it's going to be forced. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, because I can see Trump forcing it in the end because that's what he wants. And
just getting real close to that.
Yeah.
And then, they're acting like Trump is doing the same thing that Obama did. This is not at all what Obama did. Not even close to what Obama did.
Sends him pallets of cash.
He's zero cash. They're not sending, this $300 billion that we're supposed to be paying for out of our tax money is a lie. It's not going to come from us ever at all. Not even a penny of it. The $300 billion is going to come from just releasing frozen funds that already belong to Iran and the neighboring Muslim countries helping them to rebuild.
Yeah,
it's not going to have anything to do with us. And he talks about that, but the Iranians are frustrated for the U.S. for abandoning regime change.
Yeah, they wanted the prince.
For him saying what he said,
that was
he tried to encourage them, and they took that encouragement as you're going to come in and help us. And he didn't, and he shouldn't have let them to believe that. I think a lot more of them died because of that, because they felt emboldened by Trump, and 80,000 of them were slaughtered. And I think a lot of that really is blood on Trump's hands because of what he did.
Yeah, you shouldn't have said anything to them.
I love Trump, and I love what he's doing for this country, and I love how he's changing the world. And I know God is using him, right? God's using him. Trump is not a godly man. He's
No.
not a Christian. He believes he has to work his way to heaven. There's a lot of things he's doing and a lot of things he's said that proves that he does not understand truth. He's not a true Christian. He thinks he has to bring peace to the Middle East. He said he might get to heaven if he gets that done. He's being lied to by multiple false teachers, so it's no surprise.
So
right?
what president doesn't have blood on their hands?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Obama sure did.
And they all, I don't believe that Trump. I believe that Trump is one of them that is not a secret society member.
Well,
that's why they all hate him.
Trump and Lincoln are the only two presidents that never made it to 33 degrees.
Masons, yeah. And so, yeah,
that's why they hate him.
I love Trump, but he's just a man, right? And he's doing what he's doing because he believes he needs to. And but anyway, so Pakistan, this whole thing was just nonsense. It's all, the U.S. is not caving to Iranian demands by any stretch. They're not going to receive billions of dollars before the talks, before they start. See, they have to do what they've promised to do, or they're not going to get anything. Senator Graham is concerned that Iran views the deal with the U.S. differently than the U.S.
Oh, well, I would be certain of that.
What if they take the money and then they decide that they're going to build nuclear bombs?
Well, they're not going to get the money until,
uranium.
down the road, right? And we know, and I can tell you 100% that they're just doing this until Trump's gone.
Right.
3.5 years.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hello.
Yeah, which is coming up.
So they'll agree to it, and then 3.5 years they'll break the agreement.
Yeah. Well, that'll be the Antichrist that does that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, definitely. I mean, the timing is perfect, right? Yeah.
I know.
IRGC.
Coming up.
The military of Iran is still pulling the strings, is what they say, and what I believe is true. But I think they're being forced to do this, and they're of course only doing it temporarily. To them, this is just a temporary setback. But they're being forced to do it because Trump has shown that he's not going to let up. And then Israel is even bashing Trump, saying that, Trump's chaos and incoherence have led to failure on Iran. He has not failed on Iran. It's like there's so much mixture of lies in the news now.
I don't know.
Yes.
And it's, it's always been that way, but now it's like way worse in this situation where it's just all over the place.
I don't think that Netanyahu and Trump are at odds. I don't believe that. We'll see.
No,
I don't think they are.
No, I don't think they are either. I mean,
they may say things back and forth.
Trump's a little mad at Netanyahu for the Beirut attack. He's talked about that.
Yeah.
But they're not enemies by any stretch of the imagination.
No, he's still an ally.
So here's the article that just came out just before our live stream, where Trump talks about this. So I'm going to show it to you and just look at some parts of it, because he really does that. It's a memorandum that they're signing today. The true deal will be signed at the end of 60 days. This is, I promise to do this and you promise to do that, is what they're signing now.
Right.
If they don't live up to their promise, there's going to be no deal.
He said, well, if they don't do what they say they're going to do, I'm just going to drop bombs on their head.
Yeah. So here's the thing. This is what Trump himself said. So the Strait of Hormuz has to open immediately with no tolls, just free open.
It is right now, right?
It's It just is now. Yes. It is now open 100%.
Right.
The interim deal requires Iran to immediately reopen the Strait of Hormuz without tolls during a 60-day period of negotiations, because at the end of 60 days, it's when the true deal will be signed. Iran has agreed to, at minimum, downblend its stockpile of enriched uranium.
Yeah.
So what this means is they're going to take their highly enriched uranium and blend it down so that it's only useful for civilian purposes and not weapons.
Yeah, well, they're just going to...
If we trust that they're going to do that, that's ridiculous.
As soon as they
that's part of the
unfreeze
deal.
The money, they're going to buy missiles. They're going to buy, because we still have to have the...
But part of the agreement is that they can't even purchase stuff.
Well, we'll see, because we still have to have the 6 trumpet war. So
I know. We know that.
we know that.
I'm just saying what's in the deal. So, and it's a 60-day window for negotiations. They're going to be allowed to go back to selling their oil. So a lot of the sanctions are going to be lifted. And once they all sign and ratify, then the U.S. will begin moving its naval blockade out of Iran. And a memorandum of understanding calls for the United States, along with regional partners, to develop a $300 billion fund. Now, as Trump said out loud, this is not going to come from taxpayers, not even one penny. All this money is going to come from unfreezing Iran's money that's been frozen.
Is that sanctions?
And lifting sanctions and having other countries help them. And Trump negotiates that, right?
Yeah.
This is not going to come from...
also going to go towards a regime change, you think?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, who knows?
Hopefully. But
Right
I
now
don't
it's
know.
not, but I mean,
It'd
maybe
be
it will.
nice if the Iranian people felt strong enough to do that.
Yeah. So who knows? It's not going to change right now because the IRGC still controls the country. And then, so the plan won't be implemented until after 60 days. And then, we're going to do all these things. We're going to allow them to selling oil. We're going to, we're going to lift sanctions. And the United States will not be directly funneling money into the reconstruction fund, but it will permit sanctions relief and unfreezing of funds that have been frozen. It's not going to come from us at all. And maybe the UAE will help build a power plant, that kind of thing, right? That's where that's going to come from, the reconstruction fund. And then it's going to be signed Thursday or Friday, most likely.
Friday, I think.
He just said it. I think he just said that he thinks it's going to be tomorrow, but
Okay.
if I remember right.
Friday. Okay.
But they want to sign a deal. So, otherwise, if they don't fulfill its end of the deal, we go back to bombing. So, yeah.
He said, we'll just have to drop bombs on their head then.
And then it reaffirms it shall not procure or develop nuclear weapons. That's the crux of what we're making them do, right?
Yeah.
We're letting them go back to living a normal life, but they're agreeing never to pursue nuclear weapons.
Oh,
That's the
well,
whole thing.
They're on a bloodlust, so they want Israel gone. Flattened.
Well, yeah, they'll never stop that.
No,
But
they will
Trump
not.
apparently believes in interfaithism or something, because he's definitely making too many concessions and making frenzies with Muslims that want to kill us, So, but it's all about their frozen assets. We were taking their oil and keeping it. We wouldn't let them have any oil. We wouldn't let them sell anything. We had the Strait of Hormuz blocked. We were letting other oil through and stopping Iran, and so that's the true facts about the deal.
Okay.
So there's been so many stupid, false narratives just all over the place. And,
there was something about us doing business with Iran or something. And he's like, no, absolutely not. That's not true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I wish I knew exactly.
We're just stopping them from building the nuke that they want to use to bomb us.
Yeah, and Israel, yeah.
So that's the truth of it. A couple other things. This is a Timcast thing on, they tried to start a civil war where, there was an assassination attempt at the big fight at the White House, right? They had
a huge one, like
they had explosive drones. They had a sniper they caught. They were intending to create a civil war. They were going to slaughter massive, all those people there. They wanted to kill them all.
Yeah.
And start a civil war.
Innocent people,
But this is not, and the thing I want to point out is this is not the first time they've been trying to start a civil war for years. All these protests that have gone on and these violent riots that have been going on, burning cities down practically, and it didn't work. And the whole white versus black race war they're trying to ferment, and the wokeness and all of that, white people bad. That's all them trying to force us into a civil war, divide us and break us by making us fight each other. And it's just another attempt. I'm glad they caught them all. That would have been a horrific event.
And they were turning on each other. They were turning on each other and giving up information.
Because they're all a bunch of, anyway. So this is obviously just like Trump turning his head just at the right second where the bullet missed him.
He does this.
And this, there's been a few things like this. There's been multiple attempts on his life. God is holding things back. And I'm talking about the attempts of the secret society that are working for Satan. God's holding all that back until the time is right.
Mm-hmm.
So just like in Daniel 11, where they signed the peace deal mischievously, trying to work in some, some other thing they want to happen, but it doesn't happen the way they want it to, because God doesn't allow it to, and then they get mad, and that's when they put the Antichrist in power. That's their last straw, and they put the world dictator in power. That's how it's going to happen. And then, the UK will ban kids from using social media. Oh, such a good thing. No, it's a trick. It absolutely is a trick. It's a way to start using digital ID and us thinking, oh, it's a good thing. Because in order to prove who you are, they're going to implement digital ID so we can ban the kids from using it.
What?
Yeah.
I don't get what that has to do with social media.
Well, it's a way to start implementing digital ID. This is a way to begin using it without us fighting it. Right? If we can help our kids not get...
We're helping the kids.
Yeah.
By banning them from social media.
They're saying it. They're doing this to protect the kids. But it's a trick. It's just to get us to be okay with them implementing a digital ID, which is what they'll use to keep kids from using certain apps.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a trick. Definitely is a trick.
I heard that guy wasn't going to be reelected. Whatever.
I sure hope not. He is definitely one of the puppets of the secret society, big time. But I had to bring this up.
Listen to that.
So So on June 24th, and this is actually going to be one of the World Cup games played here in Florida. On June 24th,
we should go and get abducted.
There's
by
supposed
aliens.
to be a mass alien abduction.
Yeah, hundreds and thousands of people.
Yeah, and they're all taken up to the mothership.
Yeah.
Yeah, go up on the roof and wait for the
She
mother.
says she's a psychic. Do you know that she is a
Yes.
grandmother? Now that doesn't mean a lot because it could have been like 15-year-olds getting pregnant, and but she is a grandma.
She was 15,
She's a
and then her
grandmother.
daughter was 15,
Right,
and now
right.
she's 30, and she has a
No,
grandbaby.
45.
No, she was 15, and then her daughter is 15. She's only 30.
I think she's older.
She could be 30 years old and
I know.
have
I
a
think
granddaughter.
she's older than that, though. That's what
Okay,
I'm saying.
well, I don't care.
Just from
I'm just
watching
saying.
this segment.
I don't care. Okay.
So
Yeah.
when it doesn't happen, what are they going to think?
I know, and she's got millions of followers.
Oh yeah, she's got millions.
She's going to have
60
zero
million?
when nothing happens.
Saw
Huge
this.
We're going to be
number.
after her.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, she has
she's
history.
using this. She's just now all of a sudden got all this media attention.
She has
Oh,
been.
boy.
She has actually predicted things in the past that have not come true.
Right, but her followers focus on the things that did. Yeah, they ignore the ones
But
that
this
didn't.
is going to be all over the media then.
Yeah,
yeah.
probably because it is
Fraud,
now.
that she's a fake, and they're going to start turning on her.
60 million people saw this video.
This is going to be
right?
this is going to be a huge failure on her part, definitely. Yeah, but I'm sure she's capitalizing on all the attention now. Yeah,
Money.
Oh yeah.
First of all.
yeah. So, yeah, this is ridiculous. And again, if you're new to the channel and just watching this, I want to introduce you to videos.prophecyandtruth.com, and under Bible prophecy, aliens, another deception of Satan. If you look at this and watch, this was actually a segment of a live stream that we did, and it has this interview in it. I have another, the opening of the deep, which is another really good one. But if you want to know what aliens really are, watch that video. Watch this video. It'll show you what aliens really are. So, and then I was going to do this last time, didn't have much time, so I'm going to do it this time. I said it was a video, but it was a slip of the tongue. It was actually a newsletter that I did. So on BibleProphecyandTruth.com, under the notes menu, there's the e-newsletters archive. And this was and you can use this list to do it, but I like to use this, click for the flat list, and then you can see them and search them. The confirmation of the covenant. And this really is just for a way for people to say, this is what it is according to Scripture.
Mhm.
This is what the confirmation of the covenant is according to the Bible. This thing, the confirmation of the covenant, is a made-up word, right? It's what people say. It's not in the Bible. But the Antichrist will be one of many who confirms the covenant for 1 week in Daniel 9. And that's what the confirmation of the covenant is. And so the covenant is this, where God told Abraham, I will make of thee a great nation. And he said, and unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. So the covenant is that Israel will be a nation that exists, and she will have her borders between the Nile and the Euphrates, which is where she is right now, and always has been. So then in Daniel 9, when it says he shall confirm the covenant, that's the covenant that he's going to confirm with the world. is that Israel has the right to exist, which is what people are fighting about right now, that Israel doesn't even have the right to exist. So he's going to sign a treaty that gives Israel the right to exist and draws her borders. That's the covenant that will be confirmed by the Antichrist, and we won't know who he is at that time. He's going to be one of many that signs this. So we know that he's going to be in a position of power at some point where he's going to be one who's signing this. But then he's going to become a great man in the Muslim world 8 months after that, because remember, as I just said in Daniel 11, he's going to mischievously, they're going to devise a cunning plot that when they sign this, they're going to intend for something else to happen that does not happen. And they get indignation against the Holy Covenant, which causes him to break the covenant when he takes over the world 3.5 years later. And remember, the secret society is going to be they that place him in power. And so we're waiting for this to happen, because if Trump does get mad at Netanyahu and Netanyahu won't stop fighting Hezbollah, because I mean, what are they supposed to do? Just let Hezbollah lob bomb after bomb after bomb into Israel and not retaliate? I mean, I wouldn't agree to that.
Well, if it was Canada and us, we would probably be in a major battle.
Yeah. So Trump expecting Israel not to retaliate or protect themselves is just asking way too much.
It is.
But he wants this regional
treaty.
peace deal to happen. And he's going to make it happen, is what he's going to do. And I think he's going to get mad at Israel. And I think then he's going to change his mind and say, well, let's just go along with the rest of the world and we'll force this peace treaty. And they've already got multinational military forces from the peace, what's the Gaza?
Isaac?
No, the Gaza, not the Board of Peace. Sorry.
Oh,
the Board of Peace already has multinational forces agreeing to go in there and force this, ceasefire and all that, which Jesus said, when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, know that the desolation is nigh. So the desolation is when the Antichrist takes over the world at the 3.5 year mark. So when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, could be multinational forces in and around Jerusalem forcing this peace deal, forcing a 2-state solution. So I know I've talked about that, but I wanted to put it in writing where people could use it as a reference if you want, or just confirm, get it solidified in your mind that this is the confirmation of the covenant. This is what we're looking for to happen. And I talk about the Daniel 11 video that I have, because it's, when you study Daniel 11 and see that this actually happening in that prophecy, it's just mind blowing. But so we have the Abraham Accords, the Board of Peace, the Isaac Accords. They're all pushing for a peace treaty. One way or another, I believe Trump's going to make it happen.
I think so
too.
Yeah, and it might even be in the next few months.
I say before the midterms.
We'll see.
Because 2 months is August.
Yeah. And this, I have the scriptures in here that I just talked about.
During the fall feast.
Yeah.
Which would fit very well with the Bible. So, we know how this all ends, of course. Right?
Jesus wins.
Jesus wins. Yeah. So
Oh, wow. No meme.
love all of you.
No
Do I
meme.
have a meme? I don't have a meme. No meme today.
Wow.
No meme. You're so mean.
No meme.
No
Man,
meme.
I forgot to do a meme. Oh, well. Thank you all for being here. It's been fun doing this study, the entire book. Like I said, we're going to go into the notes section of my website and start studying some of those. We're going to start with Islam and the Bible on Sunday. So that'll be very interesting. Let me say a prayer and we will say goodbye for now.
Okay.
So thank you, Lord, for your promises. Thank you, Lord, for giving us all the information, everything that's about to happen. You told us about, you gave us the information. You painted a picture so that we can see exactly what's going on, and we will know. We'll be those that understand among the people, that will instruct many, as you said.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus, for giving us all of that. We love you, Lord, because you first loved us. Thank you, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Okay.
Yeah.
Douglas and Jody, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
In chat. Yeah.
Love you all.
Love everybody who's watching right now. Thank you for being here, Sissy. Love you so much. Now you only have a day and a half.
Yeah. Because now
Well,
it's
I'm going to
Wednesday.
stay later on Friday because I took yesterday off.
Oh, that's why you were chatting with me. I was like, is she taking off early today?
Yep.
And we were having a
Need to
chitty
work.
chat about Frenchie. So she just wants her Frenchie. I said, yeah, but it's
I
going to
got
be, you're going to have to get up in the middle of the night and take it out to go pee. Well, I'm ready for that. Oh, man.
Well,
I had to.
the dog can't take care of itself.
Well, I would like for ours to take care of themselves. You know, Duke really needs to have daycare, doggy daycare. Yeah, he does. Absolutely.
So you can
He
run
needs
around
to-
with the other dogs.
We need to
for
put him
few
in front of a
hours.
movie. That's what I really want to do.
We need to get a doggy iPad.
Yeah. Paul and Johanna's dog watches TV.
Get him to start scrolling.
Yeah, put him in front of an iPad.
Oh man, Duke's almost smart enough. I almost think I could teach him to do it. He's a smart dog.
Yeah, he is. We love him so much, though.
And anyway, thank you, Diane. Love you.
Love
Appreciate
you.
Yes.
And we
Everybody.
love everyone that watches later.
Yes.
We know who you are, and we love all of you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So thumbs up, subscribe, follow, notification, turn on, click the little bell icon because that is the confirmation.
Confirmation.
That is your confirmation that you have turned on the notification bell so you do not miss any great uploads. I just saved myself. Okay. And then share the show with everyone you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch the
Thank
videos. They
you.
don't cause
Yeah.
diseases, you know. You don't have to be afraid.
Yeah.
Just watch the videos. They're really
Yeah,
good.
Watch
they're
that
so good.
creation versus evolution.
Yeah, I'm
seminar.
definitely
It's really
gonna,
good.
depending on what we're doing this weekend, I'm definitely gonna watch them. Jody said, "Amen." Thank you, love you, love you,
Love you,
Jody.
So,
Sissy, love you.
bye. We'll see you Wednesday.
Bye.
Oh, no, we'll see you Sunday.
Sunday. Okay, bye bye.
Love you all.
Love you.
Bye.